What if we could jump into a time machine and land on just one single day in the near future? Let's hit the dials for October 3rd, 2025, because by looking really closely at the events of just this one day, we can get this perfect snapshot of the entire AI industry. Where it is, where it's headed, and why it's about to change, well, everything.
This sentence right here, it just perfectly captures the shift. This isn't about research papers and academic conferences anymore. No, this is a full-blown war for dominance. And it's being thought on multiple fronts by the biggest companies on the planet, from our social media apps all the way down to the very code that builds our digital world.
So think of this one day like a core sample of the future. Every single announcement, every investment, every warning shot, it's a different layer. And each layer reveals a different battlefield in this massive AI war. So let's gear up and break down those battlefields one by one.
Okay, here's our game plan. First, we're going to survey the corporate battlefield, see the giants making their moves. Then, we'll jump right into the trenches to look at the race to create things. After that, we follow the money and the power, the raw fuel for this whole conflict. From there, we'll get into the struggle to control it all. And finally, we'll zoom out and see what the future might actually look like.
All right, first up, the corporate battlefield. On this one day, the biggest names in tech all decided to lay their cards on the table. And wow, their strategies could not be more different.
What's so wild here isn't just one of these moves. It's the fact they're all happening at once. I mean, you've got OpenAI making this aggressive play to control both content and commerce. Meanwhile, Anthropic is completely ignoring regular folks and going all in on winning the hearts and minds of developers. Then you've got the old guard. Google's playing the long game, betting on a quantum computing future. Meta, totally the opposite, just pouring AI fuel on its current ad engine for immediate cash. And Microsoft is basically becoming the arms dealer in this war, making a massive bet to secure the raw computing power that everyone else desperately needs.
These moves aren't random at all. They're part of what people are calling the barbell strategy. Picture a barbell. On one end, companies are building these flashy, consumer-facing apps to grab users and data right now. They then use that money to fund the other end of the barbell, the incredibly expensive long-term bets on foundational tech. It's this really powerful self-funding loop. That flashy app from OpenAI, it funds their deeper research. Meta's ad machine funds their infrastructure. It's how you win today's battle and tomorrow's war.
And you honestly couldn't ask for a better example of that barbell in action than this. Google is making this huge, kind of risky bet on quantum physics, hoping to completely rewrite the rules of computing, maybe a decade from now. Meta, on the other hand, is making a super safe, commercially logical move to make its ad business a little bit better for the next quarter. Two giants, two completely different bets on what the future holds.
So, the big companies are making their strategic moves. But what are they actually building with all this power? Well, that brings us to our next battlefield. This furious race to control the very act of creation itself, everything from viral videos to the code that runs our world.
And on this single day, the line between real and fake didn't just blur, it completely vaporized. And it was attacked from two different directions at once. From the bottom up, you have OpenAI launching its Sora app, a tool for anyone to make AI videos, and its safety guardrails were, let's just say, loose. It was immediately flooded with fakes. At the exact same time, from the top down, the entertainment industry unveiled Tilly Norwood, a hyper-realistic AI actress designed to be the next superstar, a direct existential threat to human actors.
But this race to create isn't just about movies and memes, it's about code. While Anthropic was busy releasing this slick new tool for developers, a memo leaked from inside Meta revealed a pretty stunning admission. Their own internal systems were too clunky and slow for the fast, intuitive vibe coding that their top researchers needed to do. It was so bad, they were forced to use their competitors' tools, like GitHub. It just goes to show you, this race isn't just about who has the smartest AI, but who has the culture and the tools to let their people move the fastest.
Now, to build all these amazing and terrifying things, and to wage these corporate wars, you need an immense amount of fuel. And that brings us to the scramble for the two resources that make it all happen. Absolutely massive amounts of capital and an almost unbelievable amount of computing power. Just take a second and look at that number, $193 billion. That is how much venture capital money was poured into AI in 2025 alone. To call this a hot sector is the understatement of the century. It's a gravitational black hole for money, and it's pulling in everything around it. And here's what that actually looks like. For the first time since the dot-com bubble, one single industry, AI, is sucking up more than half of all global venture capital. This is creating a capital siphon. It's making it incredibly hard for startups in other really important fields, like healthcare or climate tech, to get the funding they need.
So what does all that money buy? Well, it buys this, raw computational horsepower. This number, $19.4 billion, is from a single deal. It's what Microsoft paid to get its hands on the latest and greatest AI chips. This isn't just an investment anymore, this is a flat-out arms race for computing power, and the scale is just staggering.
This whole arms race has given rise to a brand new industry, the neocloud. Basically, these are companies that do one thing and one thing only. They buy up as many GPUs as they possibly can, and they rent them out. This allows giants like Microsoft to expand their AI capacity almost instantly without waiting years to build massive new data centers. They're the new kingmakers in this infrastructure war.
Okay, so we have this massive concentration of money and power in the hands of just a few companies. The inevitable next question is, who's in control here? And that brings us to our final battlefield, the frantic race between regulators trying to build some guardrails and some of the technology's own creators who are screaming that we're all headed for a cliff.
On October 3rd, California decided to step into the regulatory vacuum. They hit it with a 1-2 punch. First, a new law forces developers of really powerful AI to publish their safety frameworks. And second, new rules hold employers directly liable if the AI they use for hiring discriminates. Now, this is a huge deal, because with the federal government moving so slowly, California's rules effectively become the national standard. If you want to do business there, and everyone does, you have to play by their rules.
And then, as if to underscore the stakes, this warning was issued on the very same day. And not by some critic or alarmist, but by Yoshua Bengio, one of the godfathers of AI himself. The contrast is just jarring. On the one hand, you have regulators carefully crafting rules about hiring practices. On the other, you have one of the field's chief architects saying the whole project could literally lead to human extinction. That is a perfect snapshot of the tension right at the heart of AI today.
So we have toured the entire battlefield, from corporate boardrooms to the halls of government. What does it all add up to? If we pull all of these different threads from our one day in 2025 together, we can start to see three really clear trajectories that are shaping the future of AI.
First, we see this bifurcation. The AI economy is splitting right down the middle. You've got the fast-moving, consumer-facing application economy, like the Sora app, on one side, and on the other, you have the slow, incredibly expensive infrastructure economy. Think Microsoft's multi-billion-dollar chip deal. Second, there's the primacy of grounding. The next big leap isn't just about smarter chatbots, it's about connecting AI to the real world, grounding it, whether that's through Google's quantum computers or just more reliable logical models. And finally, we are headed for an inevitable regulatory collision. The whole move fast and break things business model that AI was built on is on a direct crash course with these new demands for safety and transparency, like the laws coming out of California.
So our little trip to a single day in the AI future shows an industry moving at a breathtaking, world-changing speed. The race is definitely on, the money is flowing, the stakes could not be any higher. But it leaves us with one crucial and frankly pretty unsettling question. In this mad dash for progress, is anyone actually checking the map?